here's the thing. I had a property management company that took great care of me. And I had a construction crew that would put lipstick on my pig. I don't need me, nor do I need my investors or those that are looking to invest to get emotionally connected and tied to a property. Because here's the most beautiful part. Numbers don't lie. And if you're not the specialist, make sure you have the specialist.
Welcome back to another episode of the Quiet Wealth Podcast. I am so excited that you're here because I have another amazing guest that we're going to bring on. But first, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you've joined us here at Quiet Wealth. We empower Gen X women to build wealth, build businesses, and leave a legacy for their families. So super excited to have you here. And you're going to be so inspired by our amazing guest, Dr. Erin Hudson. Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. What a nice little intro, Camilla. It's absolutely my pleasure to be here, and I hope to add some value to your listeners today.
Yes, so excited. Erin, if you don't know Erin yet, you need to know her. She brings so much energy. I feel like she's the Energizer Bunny, and she's always just on the go, got a ton of things going on, and has a whole bunch of kids like I do. And so I just feel like very kindred spirits with Erin. And we've been in the real estate world together, and we met a couple years ago at some conferences, and it's just been so fun to follow her journey. So Erin, will you just give us some background on yourself, like how you got to be here and your journey? I guess tell us your journey.
Yes. Well, listen, I'm going to take y'all way back from when I was a kid. And I want to just kind of level set with you and understand kind of the upbringing and really where I'm from and how I got to where I am. And I hope that it truly inspires you. And I think I will go back to being 11 years old and running through the front door of my parents' house and knocking on my mom's bedroom door and saying, Mom, I can't wait to share with you what happened at school today. And her response back was, I'll be there in a little bit. I'm tired. I've had a long day at work. And perhaps many of you have been there. But I remember walking away being just sad because I just wanted to share something with my mama. But if I get really raw with you, that was her response on the regular. She just was a busy mama. And I had a busy father. And they were so busy working 9 to 5 every day, building somebody else's dream. And it was at a very, very young age that I went, hold on a second. Our life is not supposed to be like this. We are not supposed to be just living in mediocrity. And I just remember at a young age thinking, I am not going to live my life like that. And I think lastly, we all have this beautiful entrepreneurial spirit inside of us. And some of us just don't know how to find it. And there's others that want to water that puppy and figure it out and play full out. And that's what happened with me at a very young age. But it came from my upbringing of just wanting to be that mama that was home and wanted to take care of my kids. And so that was really what it was like growing up. And at a very young age, I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't know what it was I wanted to do. I just was passionate about being my own boss and being the shot caller. And so with that being said, I ended up becoming a doctor, had a couple wellness centers, mixed that in with having 5 kids. And somewhere along the way, and I'll spare you the story for another time, I had found out about investing in single family rental properties. And let's just say when I do something, I'm a kind of all the way in girl, not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And within 2 years, I acquired 26 rental properties and got a taste of that mailbox money. And from there, I got pretty fired up. Why? I think it was more or less, I had 5 kids and I knew there had to be a way that I could teach my kids, empower them, and get them equipped for the greatness that this little cash cow, i.e. a single family rental property, what it could push off. And I so badly wanted it for my kids. And so that's really how it all got birthed. And there's so much more that's unfolded since then.
Yes, I am so excited. So to our listener, make sure you stay around to the end because we're going to talk about Erin's story about how she got her kids investing in real estate. It's pretty amazing. But first, here at Quiet Wealth, we talk about three things. And number one is building wealth. You went and you got 26 rental properties in 2 years. Like that's pretty incredible. So tell me, how did you do that?
Yes. Listen, I feel like I could go so deep and there's so much to teach your listeners, but I think that really it started with my daughter. She was 14. She worked in my wellness center. I had a patient that came in and he just was talking about, she asked how his day was. And he said, well, it's about to get even better. I'm taking on another property. I've got these little cash cows and I love how they create mailbox money. And I'm not going to lie, I was the doctor in the other room eavesdropping. And I thought, what is he talking about? So when he came into the office and I got to see him, I said, hey, I heard you out there talking to my daughter about your mailbox money. Could you tell me more about that? And granted, it was his appointment, but I felt like I was the patient that day and soaking it all in. And let's just say when I found out about it, I was beyond intrigued. And I'm one of those that can't go to sleep and want to figure things out. And it was pretty quickly I found out that my calling was also to be a real estate investor. And I just started to research. Here I was living in Southern California. The median house price was $800,000 for a 1969 home, 1,600 square feet. So I knew darn well California was not the place to invest. But here's what I did look for. I wanted to go to a place where I knew that the property taxes were really low. And I wanted to go to a landlord-friendly state where if I needed to evict a tenant because they didn't pay, that I could get them out within 30 days. And in California, they could squat for 2 years. So I knew that wasn't it. And fast forward, I ended up starting to invest in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was buying homes for $40,000 and $50,000 and getting rent for $700, $800. And then just to speed this up, because I don't want to take all the time here, basically I started to buy homes. And so I would buy, let's call it 3 homes, and I would increase the price on 2 of the homes. And then it made it possible for me to keep 1 for free. So I'd buy 3, increase the price on 2, and keep 1 for free. And then what did I do? I rinsed and I repeated, and I rinsed and I repeated. And so I would say at least 14 of those 26 I got from doing just that. Pretty awesome.
Wow. Yes, yeah. That is definitely awesome. Okay. So I've talked to my audience about, the concept of active investing and passive investing. And obviously that's a very active strategy, right? Like I imagine you flew to Indianapolis and you were like there all the time finding properties, or did you have a team on site that did that for you?
I'm like embarrassed to even say this, okay? Because it sounds like way in left field, but let's just get raw for a second. Like this is really something. I told you that I purchased 26 properties, but what happens when you start to create mailbox money? You get a little passionate. You can't shut your mouth about it, right? So of course the word starts to get out. So then all of a sudden patients and friends and family are like, Erin, I heard you buy investment properties. Can you help me get a property? So I went on to do 231 buy. Maybe I bought it and then I turned around and sold it. I did that 231 times. Now, when you ask me, had I been to Indianapolis, guys, the reason I'm sharing this is because you know what? So many of us make excuses, and excuses are just well-planned lies about why we can't do something. But let me just level set with you. I had never been to Indianapolis, Indiana, yet I did all those transactions. But hold on, I never had a website. But hold on, there's more. I didn't even have a real estate license. Here's the thing. I had a property management company that took great care of me. And I had a construction crew that would put lipstick on my pig. I don't need me, nor do I need my investors or those that are looking to invest to get emotionally connected and tied to a property. Because here's the most beautiful part. Numbers don't lie. And if you're not the specialist, make sure you have the specialist.
Perfect. That's so amazing. I love what you're doing. So now, do you still do single family rentals?
Heck no. There's another way. There's a far better way. I just didn't know that it existed. And you don't know what you don't know. So no, I do not anymore. I did my
Okay. So now let's talk about, so I have a very similar story, right? Spent 15 years doing single family, then, all so much work. And then I found a different way. So tell us about your new way, your favorite new way to invest.
Well, let me just also let you know how I got there. So here I am with all these single families having incredible success. It's so much fun. Maybe some of you ladies can relate. It's like when you go to buy a new pair of shoes or a new outfit. Everybody wants to go to Nordstrom's, right? Because they have the best stuff and it's easy to go in there and find what you want. But then there's some of us that really like to go to Nordstrom's rack, or hold on, even better, Marshalls or TJ Maxx. Why? Because when you get the good deal, you feel really good. And so it was the same concept. As I was finding these great deals and getting obsessed, I'd be in practice working on patients, and in between patients, I would be checking out all these houses. And so I had 30 team members, and I'll be honest, my team members felt like I was cheating on them because I wouldn't be engrossed in the practice. I would really be engrossed in real estate. So anyways, with that being said, along the way, I had gotten invited to go to this multifamily event, and they were going to do this 2-hour little nightly little conference, and they were going to tell you about multifamily. I will never forget. I did not want to go. I turned to my friend and I said, listen, that stuff is only for billionaires. I have no business being there. And she said, no, let's just go. Let's check it out. I sat there. I was the chick that sat in the front row with my arms crossed, kind of annoyed, trying to appease her. And let me tell you something. It was as if the Red Sea parted. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not just for the billionaires. And if we take it even one step further, it was like playing the game of Monopoly. It was as if I'd been playing the game of Monopoly and landing on Vermont, i.e. my single family rental properties that were paying the lowest amount in rent. And I just found out that I am capable and worthy of landing on Boardwalk every single time, i.e. the multifamily space. So again, I heard about it and I couldn't help myself. I very quickly jumped into the space. And just to fast forward it for you, it was like I was in practice and I came back and said, oh my gosh, I need to pack up my kids. I need to get out of here. I need to move to Texas, the land of opportunity. And I knew California was not it. And so that was in 2017. I jumped into a mentorship program and I said, listen, in single family, I could invest my own money and I was responsible for myself. But there's something that is really important to understand. When you get into the multifamily space, it's not a one-man show. You have to work with other incredible partners, and you better make sure that they are the best of the best because you can't do it all yourself. So I knew I needed to give myself that 2-year time frame to get equipped, to get educated, to find the right people to work with, to make sure that I understood the power of taking someone else's money and making sure that I really knew my stuff and had a top-notch team. And so it took 2 years before we took down our first property. And man, has it been fire ever since then.
For our listener, in case I want to explain this a little bit. So what she's talking about is group investing, essentially. And so we put together, so instead of going out and buying your own rental property and using your own money and all of your own time and all of your own stress, now you're going to put together a group of people, and this group of people will then go and buy something bigger, like an apartment complex. And the powerful thing there is that you don't have to do every single thing that you would if you were owning your own rental property. And now you get to spread the work across. And there's 2 ways to do it. You could be part of the active team, the management team, who goes out and finds the properties and works, and like Erin is doing and I am doing. Or you can come in as a passive investor, and investing passively into the project simply means you invest your money and you don't have to go out and you don't have to sign on the loan. You don't have to have that liability. You don't have to be the landlord, and you don't have to find the property management company or even find the property and negotiate it. There's so much to be said about joining these group investments. And so, Erin, what do you think is the biggest benefit, I guess, for someone wanting to join as a passive investor into a project?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. I just think there's so many benefits. It's like, where do you get started, right? Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Many people are investing their hard-earned money in the stock market day in and day out. And what's happening in this market, the temperature of the market? People are at a massive loss right now. They don't have control. It's based on how things are unfolding. And so I get call after call after call of people saying, hey, what I had is now down 25%. And so the conversation I like to have with them is, what's it going to take for it to just get back to break even? Many of them are being very smart about it, and they're cutting their losses, and they're getting into an apartment building and investing as an investor for a couple different reasons. Number one, they don't want to be at a loss anymore. Number two, they look at the tax benefits that they get. You know, for example, we have a lot of attorneys and CPAs and so on and so forth that they're looking for those tax breaks, and they get that paper loss, but it's also a great way for one to double their money in 5 years. So what does that mean? It's basically you're investing, and every year, by the time you exit out of that property, you can plan to get between 18 and 20% a year with that investment. Let's just level set right now. Do you really ever see apartment buildings going down in value? If you look at something from 10 years ago, we have such a housing demand. Are you going to find an apartment building that's cheaper than what it was 10 years ago? You're not. So when people say, well, I don't know, should I really invest in that? That's an apartment building. Guess what? It's a hard asset that's not going anywhere. And then I would say, even above that, look at the track record of the operator that you're looking to invest in with. Make sure that you're investing with a top-notch operator that has a great track record, that's gone full cycle on their apartment buildings, right? I like to say for us, it's like, look, just in the last 2 years, we've sold 8 apartment buildings, and we've netted our investors over a 25% annual return. The last 2 that we just sold have been over a 32% return. And it sounds way too good to be true. But when you are working with a great operator and someone that has a phenomenal track record, you cannot go wrong. To me, it's the creme de la creme. Like, go double your money every 5 years. Go do the math on that. And don't get me started when we start talking about the kids and the power of that, and getting them to multiply, and educating them, and walking them through, and getting their pen and paper out, and their eyes like a deer in headlights when they see the power of what Camilla and I are doing with our kids. I don't know if there's anything better. It's such a gift to be able to do what we're doing with our kids and get them in the game at such a young age. Mm-hmm. We only wish, yes. Camilla and I just wish we started earlier, right? But you don't know what
I know.
Right? Sure. You don't know what you don't know. Yep. But we're well equipped now, aren't we, Camilla?
That's right. We are equipped now. We got this. We've got things moving and shaking, and we're both in the same situation where some of our children have left the house, and we still have some at home, and we're just making sure we keep educating all of them and helping them understand and listen and learn. And in fact, my 21-year-old, she and I were going over her financial plan. She graduates with her degree in computer science in December. And she already has a plan to invest in these group investments every year. Like, she's going to get a computer science salary, right? She's not going to need that whole salary to live on as a young 21-year-old. So she's going to invest half of that every year for 5 years. And honestly, if she stopped, then she could be just fine, right? She's going to be a millionaire way before I ever did it. And that's totally awesome. Like, I'm excited about that. So since we're on the topic of children, let's talk about what you have done with your kids to get them investing at an early age.
That's fantastic. Well, I told you about the single family space that I started investing in back in 2015. I'll try and speed the story up, but it is a powerful one, and I don't want to just pass and gloss over it, especially since we're talking to, listen, I have a heart for women. I'm all about the movement of helping women rise up and take control of their finances, get in the game in a place and space they never thought possible. So when I get to deliver, just like Camilla, some of these tips and tricks and what we're doing with our children, and then being able to inspire and bring hope to other women, and of course men, but I really do have this heart for women because, man, are we unstoppable. When we get the right tools, we can run with it, and we're so much better together. So I will just pause and say, if you want to connect and you'd like to learn more about how to get the kids in the game and really dig into some of those details, I'm more than happy to jump on a one-on-one call with you. Just like Camilla, I feel like the more I give, the more I get. So truly, that's my heart's desire to help you win. With that being said, my daughter at the age of 16, what does every kid want at age 16? They want a car. And so she had $7,000 sitting in her bank account. She was excited to buy a car. And I just so happened to get one of those free houses, right? And so I said, well, of course I could keep it for myself, but what do we desire more than anything? It's to see our kids win at the game of life. So I said to her, look, you can buy your car with that 7,000, or I will happily gift you a house and you can pay me the 7,000. Right. And so she was so upset. She goes, well, I just really want a new car. I said, well, listen, sleep on it, but just keep in mind, if you buy yourself your own car, you're paying for the insurance, you're paying for the gas and so on and so forth. I said, but if you use mama's car, you don't have to pay for any of that. And you don't have to worry about maintenance and et cetera. Right. She woke up the next morning and said, okay, I guess I'll take the house. And I was like, hold on a second. I hear this tonality that I'm not jiving with. And she goes, no, I totally get it. I know I should have the house. I just really wanted a car. And so with that being said, we found a way to tie that to her Roth IRA. Why did we do that? Because think about it. Every kid, when they get their hand on money and that rent comes in, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to spend it. So if we could lock that puppy up in a Roth IRA, then she can't tap into it. Fast forward at the age, that was at 16, at the age of 20, the value of her house was worth double. And she ended up selling it and got into her first apartment building. And we're just now getting ready. She's 24 now, and we're just getting ready to go full cycle on that apartment building. The mama, I'm so excited. She's getting a taste of what it's like to make money while she sleeps, to have her money make babies. Right. And so it's all these little teaching moments where we're inspiring, getting children to rise up and reminding them if they don't tell their money where to go, oh, their money's going to tell them where to go. And usually it's cash in the trash. So it's really about helping equip them. So yeah, it's been super exciting with the multifamily with her. And I'll go on and on, Camilla, but I know for time.
That's so amazing.
I'm happy to share.
Well, I want you to tell your other story about your short-term rentals also.
Okay.
That your kids manage and own. So tell us about that.
So listen, I will also say this Mama Bear is all about creating multiple streams of income. I like to do that because we're all about freedom, right? And the more income streams we have, the more comfortability, and even more importantly, the more confidence we have as men and women, right? All for the women. And so with that being said, we actually build shipping containers. And we build them out. Imagine kind of like Chip and Joanne. We Chip and Joanne out these little shipping containers, and we put the shiplap in them and cute little gooseneck sinks and so on and so forth. And with that being said, in 2017, we bought this beautiful home on 5 acres. And there were some important things we were looking for on this home. And what they are is being outside city limits, on unrestricted land, and it had a cute little pond down below. And I wanted to put little tiny homes around the pond. Why? Because I wanted to create little cash cows for my kids. And so we did in 2019, we put some of our own shipping containers out there by the pond. And let's just say they took off. They massively took off. And each of the kids, my daughter at 14 and my daughter at 16, you know, you want to make them work for their money, but they came in and helped us decorate and outfit these beautiful little shipping container homes, and they took off. And so what I did is I said, look, Mama's going to pay for all of this, and we're going to split the income that comes off of these little short-term rentals. And so they make roughly about $1,500 a month. And so Mom gets $750 and they get $750. Now, here's the important part. Of the $750 they get, there's a couple things that happen there. Number one is we take 10% off the top and we teach them how to give back to the poor, to the needy, to the homeless, the helpless, and those that can't help themselves. I'll spare you, but just for high level, I take my kids and we go to third world countries like Nicaragua, Haiti, Belize, and we go love on those that can't help themselves. So we remind them to give back to something that's bigger than themselves. Of their other 50% of it goes to that's their seed money for the next investment. And that other 40%, right? Because they gave 10% away, that other 40% is their spending money. We call that their DoorDash, their Amazon, their clothes for school. They're called Don't Ask Me for Money, right? So they have to learn how to stretch a buck. I've got one that's an absolute saver. He's got tons of money saved up, and the other one that spends as quick as she gets it. And so I'll never forget the one that's the introvert and the saver. And then I've got the one that's just flighty and has all the friends and is loud and likes to spend. They said to me, Mom, it's payout time. It was their first payout, their first quarterly payout. And the 14-year-old goes, well, I don't know how to go do the Excel spreadsheet. And so my sweet boy who's 16 goes, no big deal. Just pay me 5% of your income and I'll do the Excel spreadsheet for you. So it's like this healthy competition, y'all, that's going on in my house at the dinner table. Who has more nights booked? Who's making more money? So on and so forth. And it's just such a healthy conversation because we make it fun and exciting, right? So that's kind of the net of it, Camilla.
I feel like, Erin, you and I live such parallel lives because we've done the exact same thing with our kids. We have the exact same rules in place. Like when your money comes in, 10% goes to charity because we teach the habit of giving, and then 50% goes to seed money for your next investment. And we did something similar with our children where we all flipped a house together and then we shifted income to the kids. So they each turned around and invested $10,000 into a short-term rental that we own as a family, and my daughter manages it from her phone, and we go up there all the time, review the P&L sheet for it, and we figure out ways to make it more interesting. So we built a tree house there this summer to make it more exciting and for kids to come, and it's just been so fun to have the kids involved. And
listen, Camilla, I think you're so spot on. I love what you're doing with the kids. At the end of the day, our goal is to inspire other women to want to do the same and to help their kids. But imagine for a moment what we've created in our homes, right? Listen, I am far from perfect. I'm basically giving them free money, and to each their own. Some people will go, Erin, why would you do that? That's so foolish. You're just giving them money. To each their own, however you want to go about it. But if I can start to have these healthy conversations with my kids, it then emerges to my oldest, he's basically had this taste of what it was like to earn this money. So he says to me, Mom, look, you've got this other shipping container. It's a 40-foot shipping container. It's got a tenant in there for $1,000, right? He goes, Mom, I wanted to see if I could buy that from you for $50,000 and you be the bank for me. And I'll give you, I'll service that debt. And then, Mom, I'll be able to pocket $400. So it gets them thinking in a way that's so incredibly entrepreneurial, taking ownership and really having a desire to go bigger, right? But sooner than you and I. Right? Much sooner. Yes. So we're giving them the tools and we're saying, we're not just, what is that saying about you can't just give them the fish, you got to teach them to fish or whatnot.
Yep.
Concept, right? We want to create good habits and for them to want to stretch a buck and be able to build their empire and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Yes. And it's so incredible what you have done with your family, but not only that, but what you are doing with your business as well, in the way that you are empowering other women to, like you said, get in the game, right? Stop telling you the excuse that you can't do it. It's too hard, right? Money's too hard to figure out. Investing's too hard to figure out. That's just an excuse. You can absolutely figure it out. Erin figured it out. I figured it out. And we're here to lead and guide you and teach you how to do this and how to really level up. No longer are we doing level 1 in finances. This is level 2, ladies. Here we go. Right? We've got this. So Erin, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate just the fire you always bring. Your energy is just amazing. It's amazing energy. So Erin, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yes. Well, you can find me on all social media platforms. But with that being said, I would also say check out our website. It's thequattroway.com. TheQuattroway.com. And from there, I always say, listen, the most important thing is the team. And so you've got to get a good gut feel of those that you're looking to explore and possibly work with. But I would say definitely learn a little bit about our team, but also from there, you can actually book a one-on-one appointment from the website. But definitely check out some of the stuff on social media And I would love to see how I can help you move your needle forward. And I think, again, the more you give out, the more you help, the more you get back. And it's about reaping and sowing in this world. And I love that I get to link up with other individuals like Camilla who are doing big things in this world and truly have a heart to see other people win. So with that being said, I look forward to possibly connecting.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our listener who joined us today. You are beautiful, you are amazing, and you have what it takes to get in this game. So we'd be happy to help you. Take care. Bye for now.
All right. Bye now.